Hi, this is Mr. Nazarian. Our learning objectives today, we have two today. One is I can classify two-dimensional shapes based on their properties, which is 5th grade standard geometry 4. And the second standard is, or learning objective is, I can understand how attributes of two-dimensional shapes in a category also belong to all subcategories of those shapes, which is 5th grade standard geometry 3. Okay, so we're going to look at categories of polygons, and today we're going to be looking at quadrilaterals, which are also sometimes called quadrangles. So the definition of a quadrilateral or a quadrangle is a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles. Those are the attributes that make a quadrilateral a quadrilateral. And specifically, we're going to look at 4 subcategories of quadrilaterals today. So let's start off with the first one, which is a square. A square is a type of quadrilateral that has its own specific attributes, and those are, has 4 equal length sides. So as you can see, all 4 sides are the same length. And it has 4 right angles, so angles that are 90 degrees. And so if a polygon is a quadrilateral, it has 4 sides, 4 angles, then 4 of the sides are equal, and and all angles are right angles, then it is a square. The second subcategory of quadrilaterals that we'll look at today is rectangles. So this rectangle, the attributes that make a rectangle are as 2 pairs of equal sides. So here we have these 2 sides are a pair of equal sides, and these 2 sides are a pair of equal sides. And they also have 4 right angles. So if you remember the square, one of the attributes is it has 4 right angles. The rectangle also has 4 right angles. And something that I want you to think about right now is that a rectangle has 2 pairs of equal sides. It doesn't necessarily have 4 equal sides, but it has 2 pairs of equal sides. And if we look back here at the square, it has 4 equal length sides to be a square, but I want you to think about this. These 2 sides, this pair of sides, are equal length, and these pair of sides of equal length. So that would tell you that a square is a square because it has 4 equal length sides and 4 right angles, but a square is also a type of rectangle because a square has 2 pairs of equal sides, just like the attributes of a rectangle, and it has 4 right angles. So every square is a rectangle, and since this is a square and a rectangle, some rectangles are squares, but not every rectangle is a square, as you can see here. It has 2 pairs of equal sides, but these pair is not the same as this pair. Okay. Our third subcategory of quadrilaterals today is a parallelogram. So the attributes of a parallelogram are just as 2 pairs of parallel sides. So of course it also has to have the same attributes of any quadrilateral, which, as you will remember, has 4 sides and 4 angles. So all of these subcategories we're going to look at have 4 sides and 4 angles. But what makes a parallelogram, it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So as you'll see, these 2 sides here, this pair of sides, are parallel to each other, meaning they could go on forever and ever and never cross, never get closer or farther away from each other. And these 2 sides here, the top and bottom, these pair are also parallel to each other. Again, I want you to think about this. So this shape right here fits in the parallelogram category because these sides are parallel and these sides are parallel. So it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. But if we look at the subcategories earlier, a rectangle and a square, they both have 2 pairs of parallel sides, right? The top and bottom here are parallel and the sides are parallel, and the same thing with rectangles. So all squares and all rectangles are parallelograms, but not all parallelograms are squares and rectangles because, as you can see in this example, it has two pairs of parallel sides, so it's a parallelogram, but it does not have four right angles, so it cannot be a square or a rectangle. And finally today, we're going to look at a trapezoid. And so the attribute that makes a trapezoid is it has one pair of parallel sides. So as you can see here in this example, the top and the bottom sides of this trapezoid are parallel, right? If they kept going this way and this way forever and ever and ever, they wouldn't get closer or farther away from each other. But these two sides, the right and left side here, as we look at it, are not parallel. If we kept going on and on, these would eventually cross. And so this is a trapezoid because it has one pair of parallel sides. Now, these earlier subcategories, a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a square, do they all have one pair of parallel sides? Yes, they do. They all have, right? So this, the top and the bottom, that's one pair of parallel sides. So technically, all of these, a square, rectangle, and parallelogram, all could be that, but a trapezoid is, all trapezoids are not parallelograms or rectangles or squares because they do not have two pairs of parallel sides. They only have one pair of parallel sides. All right, and so that's what we focus on today, is looking at quadrilaterals and attributes and defining them and putting them into categories and subcategories. All right, see you tomorrow.